What's up, everyone? Thralls of Metal back again. I am Shredlord.
Necrotic Nick.
And we are here to do a EP review. This time we are doing the brand new EP from German thrash legends Sodom.
Bombenhagel. If that word sounds familiar, there's a reason why you've heard it before, and probably from Sodom. This comes out on the 20th of August on Steamhammer, SPV Records, pretty much the same home they've had forever. For those that don't know Sodom, I mean, they are pretty much a staple in
Shame
terms
on
of,
you.
Yeah, thrash metal. Formed in Germany in 1981, started off as more black metal, became thrash legends, still are thrash legends, at least in my book. And overall, this is their 9th EP, which is scattered amongst a litany of albums. They are pretty much a staple in thrash listening, especially if you're getting into Teutonic thrash with, Crater and Tankard and Destruction and all those fun bands. So, saw this was coming out. I saw the title of this, and it was like, that sounds familiar for a very Sodom-ish reason. And it's because it's a re-recording of the song that was on Persecution Mania, which is one of my favorite Sodom albums. And it does have 2 originals on it, but we figured we're going to go track by track since there are only 3 tracks on this. And overall, I mean, there are some things we can bring up that are kind of universal, but I think a track by track is kind of just fun because it's only 3 tracks.
Yeah. Let's start with the universal. The first thing that we noticed immediately is how much better we like this EP's production versus the last album's production. It maintained its rawness, but it didn't dive too far into modern day tips and tricks and emulations of things that they really haven't been.
Yeah. Honestly, as soon as I heard like the guitar tone and how like just aggressive it sounded, it reminded me a lot of Tapping the Vein, which is a really underrated Sodom album.
Maybe my favorite.
Right, like kind of in that area where they maybe flirted with death metal a little bit, and you do get some like death metal-ish riffs on here, but the production was kind of what I wanted on that last album. Last album, the production was like a little uneven. I mean, it was still heavy and all, but this feels more natural for them.
Yes. Another universal truth that we both came to is we believe that we like these 2 original tracks on this EP better than most of the material on said previous album as well. And I think that's because, once again, the rawness is there. The songwriting is a little bit more Sodom-like.
Yeah.
It felt more back in their wheelhouse, more back at home. And the guitars, for one of the reasons that Tapping the Vein may be my favorite Sodom album, is the guitar tones.
Oh god, that guitar
They
tone's awesome.
crunch and smash your face, and it is just fucking awesome. I love, if you've never heard that album and you like crunchy guitar tones, you have to listen to that. It's really good. So it's got more of that, and for those reasons, I think that's why I was really pleasantly surprised to hear this, because it was a total 180 from what we had the last album.
There were definitely some moments on the last album that were similar to what we got on these other 2 tracks, but for the most part, again, coupled with that cool production, it just feels more straight ahead and raw. There was like a little bit of experimentation on Genesis 19, I think that was the name of it. But overall, it still felt very Sodomish, and the experimentation I didn't think was as good. This just sticks to their strengths. And yeah, you may have heard this style before from them, but it comes down to execution for me, and
it's executed awesome.
Yeah, they're executing beautifully here. So, opening track, Bombenhagel. I know this song, and as soon as I saw the title of this EP, I was like, they're probably going to re-record this song. I'm not a big fan of re-recordings. Now, granted, I do like the production here. I like hearing, how this production kind of lends itself to an older song, which, Persecution Mania, good album, not the best production, but it was still pretty decent. This kind of livens it up a little bit, gives an extra added heft. It's not my favorite song on the album. It's a really good song. It's very punky, if you've ever heard it before. It blast beats, a little bit of that
punk,
a little bit of that black metal stuff left over on it. But ultimately, I just don't see like a re-recording as a big necessity. Like, you did it before, you did it well, and if you get a chance to see Sodom live, there's a good chance you'll actually hear these songs as they're probably intended.
I disagree. I think this was cool. It's nice to have a different alternative. So one of the advantages that you have with a re-recording, I think, is you can also hear how a different lineup plays it. When we were discussing that previous, sometimes the better player now in the modern band, and sometimes it's vice versa, but I was thinking like Dave Holland of Judas Priest. Not a bad drummer, but not crazy either. Now when you hear Scott Travis play Judas Priest, I mean, wow. So, it's nice to hear those covers sometimes. And this wasn't necessarily a better cover, but I love the modern production. It felt new.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of big on that whole throwback feel of Persecution Mania. I love that album. Again, like, it's just like an unnecessary thing, but it is a draw for the EP. It was like, oh, I kind of want to hear what they sound like now. And I mean, honestly, Tom's voice is still just
Kicking
as
ass.
graveled and nasty as ever. And honestly, the clear production kind of lends better to that. But, I mean, I don't think it's a bad song. I don't think it's like the most necessary thing for them to do, but it's still good.
The first original song we get to is Coup de Grace, or Grace, or whatever.
Coupe de Gracie.
I don't speak French, okay there, bud?
Oh, no, I think that's the Spanish right there, isn't it?
Oh,
I
God,
got
now
it.
there I
accents
go
on
again,
there?
looking like an asshole on the television.
I thought it was a word jumble. I was getting all sorts of stuff out of that.
But anyway, this song is heavy thrash. This is the opener, basically, to the album, if you consider it. And it immediately reminded us of the more heavier, darker, tapping the vein era Sodom as far as guitar tones and aggression. There's so much aggression on here. And once again, Angel Ripper just doesn't sound like he's faded too much. When he screams and when he growls and stuff, it still sounds like it's got a lot of heft and a lot of power behind it. And it sounds good.
He's not hitting the higher notes anymore, but he doesn't need to.
No.
His range is solid. His delivery is intense. And I like the little, like, pockmark moments of death metal, like, kind of tremolos in there. There's a little bit of black metal to it. But the main thing is it's just an aggressive thrash song, and it stands out. Like, it's just a massive, just dirty, ugly thrash song. It's exactly what I kind of wanted to hear more of on the last one, but there were still songs like it. I think this song is definitely more what I wanted on
And
that
it hits
last
it a
one.
little bit better
Oh,
in
it
that
does.
sweet spot.
And then the last track, Pastiferous Posse, which that's the first time I think I've ever said that word. It's an interesting opening. I have to say, as soon as we listen to the opening, it has this sludgy bend to the riff, and both of us kind of looked at each other and was like, is this like a down riff?
Yeah, it was very unique to a Sodom riff, but it worked really well.
Yeah, I was kind of entertained by how, like, I thought it was going to start off as like kind of a groovy opening, because, that bendy riff,
Yeah,
we're thinking down, maybe crowbar too, but it just goes full tilt boogie into thrash, but I was like, that's kind of an interesting way to employ that. Another fast, aggressive song, but I like the different style of riff on there. Like, it doesn't have like a traditional thrash accent after the machine gun riffs. It has that interesting bend and an interesting little clean section at the end. I thought that was, a little different, but it kind of goes right back into just being fast and aggressive as hell. And that's pretty much the EP in a nutshell. Fast, aggressive, in your face, and production-wise, definitely something I want to hear more of on the next full length from Sodom.
So rating, overall, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. This is exactly what an EP is supposed to do. It gives you a taste, but it also makes you excited for the main course, and I am now very excited to hear this next Sodom album because of this. So, mission accomplished, 4 out of 5. All Thrashers, check it out.
I'm going to give it a 3, and there's a little bit of a reasoning behind it. As much as I like this EP, I like what it brings to the table in terms of just things you love about Sodom already. It reinforces what you love. My problem is they seem to save a lot of these really good songs for EPs here lately, and the full lengths generally have a little bit of filler. I don't know if necessarily this is a teaser for anything, just something they kind of threw together because they were fun. They wanted to throw out an old song and throw out 2 new songs. They kind of had their back pocket. The 2 new songs are really good. In fact, whoever the production team was on this, I did not look it up, they need to get them again for another album because that's the raw sound that they need. Bombenhagel, I love that song. I loved it when it originally came out. Again, not a big fan of re-recording it, but they still did a good job on that. I think it's like a full minute longer than the original. And they even threw in a little bit of like the national anthem, or maybe even the German national anthem in there. I don't know that national anthem, but it was in there, and I don't know, it was just cool to see them have fun. But yeah, this is Sodom doing what Sodom does, and technically doing what Sodom did. but doing it well, and I'm always down for a Sodom album.
He's always down for Sodom.
No. I know what Sodom can deliver, and they have delivered it in the past. But yeah, this is a strong EP. Go out and get it, because it's Sodom, and those two originals are enough of a lore to just get this shit, because it's awesome. So, if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe, because we do stuff like this all the time. We are also on Patreon. If you'd like to help us out there will be a link below in the description. We're going to get around to putting more stuff up there soon. We're currently working on some ideas in terms of other stuff we can throw on there, but it's coming. We also have t-shirts available. We are pretty much down to XLs, larges, a couple of double X's.
Getting ready to make a reorder, though.
Yeah, and a small in there, too. And possibly getting some other stuff in there, too, with our logo on it. But if you would like one, hit us up on thrallsofmetal@gmail.com. Put shirts in the message, and we will get back to you, get your information, get your size, and hopefully get you a shirt. We also have a giveaway going on. Once we hit 7,500 subscribers, which is a ridiculously high number that I never thought we'd get to, and thank you all for getting us here. We are going to do an 8 CD giveaway, and the new Cannibal Corpse is in that with the uncensored artwork.
Woo, baby!
All you have to do is comment on the giveaway video, which there will be a link below to that. Also, it is playing on our channel as soon as you jump on it. Again, comment, you are entered, and then when we hit the 7,500 mark, we will do a little video saying who the winner is, and probably thanking you all again for this wild journey we're on, because we thoroughly enjoy it.
Thank you for letting us inside of you and your computers.
More the computers.
But inside their hearts.
Oh, inside their hearts. Yeah,
yes.
No, I wasn't sure where you were going with
inside
that.
Their hearts.
Okay. That's perfectly platonic.
Holy moly.
Might be consensual, too. So with that, I thank you all for watching, and we will catch you later.